This is today's live on Equa Television International. We're so glad that you could join us on today's edition of the program. It's Valentine's Eve. Do you have a value? I should mind my business. Well, let's get to the business of the day. We're live on Facebook and YouTube at Equa Television International. Do well to join this conversation. Tomorrow being Valentine, we're going to be discussing something very interesting. Love and romance. Where do you stand? What's your plan? If you have any bad plan, you better change. If not. Meanwhile, we're talking about low self-esteem. Yes, low self-esteem. It's Thursday. And it's so good we talk about education, something really enlightening. And of course, over a long time ago, we've seen the effect of low self-esteem on a lot of people, ranging from work, personal relationship, and in other spheres. And today we're going to be looking at low self-esteem, negative perception of one's self, characterized by self-doubt, insecurity, and lack of confidence. My name is Joyce Jakada. I have Sam Muslim Sabi, Jemima, and Prudence. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, everybody's looking all lively, happy, and it looks like we're already in the spirit of Valentine. Do Christians celebrate Valentine? Hey, it's the silence for me. You guys all have plans.
Is it based on the low self-esteem?
Because I don't understand.
I think
red and black,
it's the topic that is leading.
No, me. I don't have a problem. I'm celebrating Valentine tomorrow. Yeah, and
Okay.
we can
see.
I'm already excited. I'm already in the spirit of Valentine, and that's why the look. Like, I can't wait for tomorrow. So let me do Eve first before we get there. So that's why I said, do you have, or I should mind my business?
Because I noticed since you came in the morning, you are on a high spirit. You are just happy. The only thing that you didn't dash me money.
Okay, wow.
Yes, and that was the last thing I was waiting to see. Like, you just.
Don't worry,
so,
that's not a problem. That's
you
just
see.
by the way.
So you see, people like Joyce, they are the kind of people that will introduce something that thing is not existing. Now she want to introduce Valentine Eve. just imagine. Valentine is just lying down. Now she want to introduce Eve. The Valentine, we are not even done with it. To deal with the issues of the Valentine. Do you get?
You know the excitement of Christmas. I don't know whether if it's only me, even my birthday, like days ahead of.
The excitement of those days leading
Do
to
you
Christmas
understand?
is even more than the Christmas
on
day
the Christmas
itself.
day, you find yourself sleeping after church service. You are sleeping, but the excitement from 1st of December, the colors you see around, the activities and
more
all
than
of that,
the day itself.
like that. But this one is just so special. I'm really excited. I'm happy. For me, it's a time to reflect, and it's also a time to appreciate love. But of course, we're looking at it not as the world have actually twisted it, because what the world has presented as Valentine is really nothing to write home about. You know, yesterday we were talking about when love is not valued, and I remember having a conversation with a couple yesterday, and while they were just having some play, and I say, see, value your love, value it. When your wife is saying, I feel like eating this, just get up, rush, go and look for it and give it to her. If you can afford it. If you cannot, lovingly explain to her that, see, there's no money for ice cream, but we can put water in the fridge. When it's cold, you can take it. It's still going to be chilled.
Is there anything like lovely demanding?
Yes, now you can. Women know how to do that, though.
Create balance.
Let's not go into Valentine.
Practicals.
Let's not go into Valentine. Let me not even tell you people. Let me not even tell people the secret. But then we'll talk about that tomorrow. But for now, let's talk about low self-esteem. Like, why do people have negative perception of themselves? Why will a person have doubt himself? Like, it's common for somebody to say, this person is ugly, this person is not fine, this person is not intelligent, this person cannot dress, this person cannot do this. But why will a person now tell himself or herself, I'm not good enough, I cannot do this thing? Like, see how black I am, see how my nose is big, I'm not even good enough, I can't go to this, I can't do this. So why do people have negative perception perception of themselves. Now, it's not coming from somebody else, but it's from their own self. Why is that people build insecurity or have insecurity? You tell your partner, you're already married, but you're saying, you will not work. I don't want you to have friends. I don't want anybody to come to my house. Like, I just want you to be to yourself. Or you feel, I'm not good enough to associate. There's a meeting, maybe there's a gathering or a conference of professionals, and you are also a trained professional in that field. You practice, but you feel, I'm not worthy to go to this particular place. Or maybe your school, they're having some reunion, even though I know most reunions are characterized by show up, but like, because I don't have Bond Street, I can't go. Because I'm not using iPhone, I cannot go. Because I don't have this clothes, I don't have this shoe, let me just sleep at home. Because I don't have this brand of car, I cannot go. Like, they'll see me, so insecurity. And then some, no confidence at all. I cannot do it. It's not somebody that is telling you cannot do it, but you're telling yourself you cannot do it. So how do people build this? What's the root cause of low self-esteem?
Honestly, it's background.
Okay.
Honestly, it's background. Because everything.
Have you been there at some point of your life?
Yes. Yes. And I'm still battling with. Because there's something that once is in you and it becomes part of you. It is difficult. You will always struggle with it. You see, the society has its own way of dealing with people. It has its own way of placing you in a particular place based on the kind of people you are dealing with. Because even in the midst of people that they feel they have charisma, when all of the people that have charisma, you will still see among them there are people with low self-esteem. It's like that. So that's why always I emphasize on the issue of family upbringing. It is very key. It is very important. In most cases, you'll find out parents contribute like 90%. Yes. Because when a child is coming, they are telling you, see your big head, you will amount to nothing.
Yeah.
You understand? Can't you see this child is doing this? All he knows, you are his first teacher. So whatever you put in him, later, he will start giving it out. Just like the issue of computer, garbage in and garbage it out. Because talking, from crawling to talking, from observing what the parents are doing. So you find out there's this issue of button shift. So sometimes when you check the issue of low esteem, it starts from home. How you treat your children. And when they get out there to the larger society, it becomes a problem. I noticed this with me. And it has been a struggle. Why? I think I once said this here, that my dad would just wake up, and then when I do something, something wrong, and he'd be like, hopeless child. Like hopeless can just be like just by the way to him, right? But to me, it was something. But I cannot approach him at that time to tell him, no, this is how it's affecting me, and I don't like it. You know then how the relationship between children and parent. Some though, not all, but in most cases, the chunk, whatever. So growing up is like hopeless child. Like you are just growing, there's no hope in you. And then when you find yourself in the midst of your peers, that thing keep haunting you. Because already it has been stored here and it keep haunting you. And then maybe you make mistake or you did something and then they laugh. That thing comes back to your mind. That, okay, is it the reason why that my dad is saying I'm a hopeless child? And if God is not on your side, that thing will haunt you for life. But it's something that you can also fight and say, no, that's not who I am. But how many can do that at that level? You understand? Until you reach certain level and you begin to say, and people will begin to say, but Jemima, I think you are good in this. I think you are this. And then you'll be like, wow. But your parents have been seeing it. They have never said anything concerning that. And then you will be wondering, like, why is this person saying? Like, you will even be doubting, is the person telling me the truth, or he's just pulling my legs? Because I believe it's because of people that I met along the way while I was struggling with what I'm going through, and then the environment again, and then the kind of life, and then people were like, I think you're good in that, you're good in this. Okay. They started giving me MC. Once in a while I talk, but I don't talk. But when they see me MCing, they will be like, this is a different version of you. Like, are you serious? Like this. Then they were like, okay, what's your qualification? Can you just do something to match with what you are doing? And I said, okay, how would I start? And then people started advising me, and so on and so forth. And then before you know it, someone on his own went ahead to help me look for admission. Yes, that's how I started. On his own. And he said, I think you should go. Let me do this to tell you that I really believe in you. And then in getting there, I did what I did, and then see where I am today.
So
I'm not there.
Background
Yeah,
can
background.
actually be a
Yes.
factor.
Yeah.
So beyond background, like you really elaborated on how background can be a factor to developing low self-esteem. But Jemima, beyond background, beyond family, are there other factors that can actually lead to low self-esteem?
Peer pressure.
Oh wow.
People that are not even related to you by blood, they can influence you. There are people that I have seen that don't have a mind of their own. Whatever you say, they'll say yes. If you later say another one, they'll say yes. If you say another one, they'll say yes. They don't have a mind of their own. They don't believe that they can think and bring a solution. They just believe that they belong to the majority. They belong inside people. You will never see them wanting to stand alone. Even if standing alone means doing the right thing, they rather go and do the wrong thing alongside with others. So I'll say peer pressure. This kind of people, they can easily be swayed. They can easily be influenced. And sometimes it results from neglect. If you've been neglected, I think it still boils down to the background. If you've had trauma, a certain kind of family trauma that has haunted you for so long, it will be so hard to remove this kind of thing from a person. And I think we have said a lot of times that people are different. Personalities are different. So the way someone will rise up above his struggle is different from the way another person. Someone will remain in that struggle till their kingdom come. Another one will rise up and it will never look like he was even in that kind of a situation before. So when you have childhood traumas where he said, they tell you you're not good enough, they compare you with other people, they don't believe that you have a different kind of strength that does not resonate with every other person. And if that strength can come into manifestation, you will even do better than the same people they are comparing you with. So when you're neglected, there are parents that have given birth to children and thrown them away. So they grew up fending for themselves. You can see siblings. The older one is not even big at all, but he has to be the man of the house or the mother of the house, and they fend for themselves. This kind of people, when they grow up and they have low self-esteem, it shows in every single way. So anybody anywhere can just appear and do whatever he wants to do with them because they have not built themselves. Self-esteem is something you have to build. There are people that are grown up right now that if they tell you how they struggled with self-esteem, you won't even believe it. But they had to get to a point that they decided, I have to overcome this. I cannot remain here. And in overcoming, they met obstacles, they met trials, but they still scaled through. Some are still in the process.
Okay, so Prudence, can individuals now be the cause of their own low self-esteem? Like as a person, can I be the cause beyond family background, environment, peer pressure? Like, can a person be, and how is that possible?
All right. So before I answer that question, I'll quickly like to add on what they've both spoken about. I know the focus here and what they spoke about was background, family background. But I've seen a situation where the family is not really at fault here, right? And this person, let me not even talk so abstract and you think that I'm talking about somebody so far away. I'm talking about myself. I grew up in a house where my dad could literally wake up in the morning and tell me things like, I'm proud of you, you're doing great, my child. I grew up in front of a stage. I'm always like in front of the church and all that. I do a lot of things. And I was good at what I was doing, right? But I went to secondary school, and on this first instance, I stood up in front of class and I did what I knew I was good at, and I was doing it with confidence and all that. And when I was done, everybody just laughed at me and said,
I just remember, sorry, Prudence, a classmate, when we were being taught how to read. And then I think this particular person struggled with, some people are slow learners. And then we got to primary 4. She was still struggling with reading. And then this teacher just said, get up. You still write common entrance and you're still struggling. Okay, you stand up, read what is in the board. All these maths, you need to solve. There will be a lot of story, then find the this and that. It was a worker went to this, that, and she said, read. And she said, Awaka. Everybody busted into laugh. And that's how they start calling her Awaka.
oh my
So you know how that can actually impact yourself.
Exactly.
Imagine that the next time she's being asked, get up and read. She
just one
she will
thing.
just start crying.
So exactly a similar situation happened to me. So regardless of the fact that my father was always saying, I'm proud of you, my mom was always saying, oh, my daughter, you're very talented, you're good, you should give me this, do that, do this, and all that. The fact that I just felt like they were preferential because, well, they are my parents and they love me. So definitely I'll do great in their eyes, right? But since other people are not seeing it, it's a problem. So automatically it just, my self-esteem just went downhill from there. And so before I do something, I'm second guessing myself. I'm thinking, would people appreciate it or would they still laugh and all that? So the whole issue, just like Jemima said, is something that you have to build. And if certain parents are not, and that's back to background again, if parents are not observant, your child that you knew to be an extra, like someone that is extra active, would suddenly become quiet and you're not even seeing it. And sometimes this child comes back home and is pretending and you don't even know. So you have to take extra caution and all that. But then as a person, it is also important that you check yourself. For me, it was something that up until I got to the university, I never fully got myself. I was, even while I was still in secondary school, I was still part of the band and all that. I was in front of a crowd and everything. But when I was told that, okay, so right now in the university you're applying for, your only option is either sociology or mass communication, I was thinking between the two. I was like, no, it might be better to do sociology. At least nobody will see me. But mass communication, I'll be up and out there. I'm not confident that I'll pull it off. But at the end of the day, I thank God that I did what I did. But here's the thing. I kept on second guessing myself even while I was still studying. It became a problem, a huge issue for me. At some point, when the lecturer is asking, who knows the answer to this? And I believe that I know it, but because I'm not confident in myself, I'm just quiet and
There were
so I became
always
a
those people
closeted
that will not
person.
raise their hand, but if you point to them, they will say it.
Call my name. Call my name.
Yes.
Call my name.
No, I was referring to me.
Call my name. Call my name.
Although we are
No
playing
matter what you do, I will not answer. I will
but
not.
dear me.
But if you point me, I will answer. But who knows? My hand will not go up.
Yeah, I will be like, read your hand.
this is the answer.
The way I will deny you,
I will keep telling people beside me that I think this is the answer.
This is the
And they will say it and people are applauding them
I
and you're
see.
wondering, I actually gave this answer. But you're thinking that if I had stood up, I'll probably be laughed at. I'll probably be looked down upon and all that.
Sometimes
So-
it's fear of failure.
Yes, there's that. There's that.
yes.
But a whole lot of it actually stems from low self-esteem. And so, yes, there are times that parents did their homework, but along the way, influence could be a very huge issue for you as a person. And so you asked if it is possible for someone to be the cause of his or her low self-esteem. Not generally yes, but also yes. This is how I look at it, right? There are times when you have made mistakes in life and the repercussions have caused like great harm to you. And from that moment on, you begin to second guess yourself. So in that sense of it, yes. So for you being the sole purpose that you're having low self-esteem, I don't think so, because I think that there are also other factors that come into play.
But don't
here.
you think that there are also people that faced the other factors, but they still, like, they are still confident in who they are?
I
They
also
still speak positive of themselves. Because I've seen children in like, okay, take for example, you know how a parent will always tell you, you know where you're coming from when you're going to school, when you're going, don't forget where you're coming from and all of that. And you know that too, that statement too has a way, is just a way of telling you to be cautious. There are things like somebody gave a really good explanation, like an example. Be mindful of where you're coming from. Imagine going to the university and then you meet with rich kids and they're like, let's go and smoke. And you're where you are coming from, I mean, your background, your parents are still struggling. Your dad has to go farm before he's able to raise money, or your mother is hawking before she struggled to raise money to pay your school fees. But this other child, this rich kid, his father just makes one transfer. Even before school resume, they have paid his school fees. When he is expelled from school, the parents will just put a call to the principal and the child is returned back. But you that are coming from a background that your parents are struggling, like, they can't do anything about it. You'll be expelled, nothing will happen. If you're caught smoking, like, you're going to be like stealing or something, you go behind bars. But those people, they have connections, they will be released. Or the case of the rich kid having mental issues because of drugs, they will take him to a rehabilitation center, and of course you know how much it costs. But your parents cannot afford that, and somebody say you start roaming the streets and be disturbing us, running after us. So this, know where you're coming from. That too has made some people develop low self-esteem. For example, you go to school and then maybe there are certain activities to be done. You're always reserved because of your background. You just feel, I'm not good enough. No, the rich kids, they speak well, they are good enough. And it somehow also contributes to low self, not having confidence in yourself. But I also know children that are coming from that background, their level of confidence, regardless of all, be mindful of where you're coming from, they will join the debates, they will join everything, like they don't care. I'm not talking about the negative. How that they will laugh at their dressing. They are not confident. They will laugh at their dressing. They will laugh at their English, but they will still raise their hands and say, "Ma, me." So, in as much as I understand the environmental factor, the background, peer pressure, you know, some of us, we like validation.
Yes.
Validation. If somebody does not, you look beautiful, you go and make your hair. If nobody says this hair is fine, you go and fight with the person that braided your hair.
So didn't you like it?
You might even be happy about the hair. I remember a lady that went to my auntie's shop and she made her hair and everybody was like, your hair is fine. In fact, she saw it on a dummy and said, I love this hair, can you make this style for me? And they made the style for her and she was like, wow, this is fine. And she left. Somebody outside now told her that, Kai, this style does not fit you. She came back the next day and said she does not want this style. It should be changed. So there are people that validation, like they live on validation.
I know of someone that made her hair too, and because so many people commented on it, she came and paid extra to the person that made the hair.
Wow, that should be maybe appreciation.
Yeah, so it means if nobody had commented, you come and lose it.
Do you understand? No, there are people that do that.
Yeah.
They will lose their hair because nobody said anything, or somebody say, "Kai, this hair is not really fine," even though they like it, but because nobody said anything. So, like, their confidence is when they get applause, when they get appreciated by other people, and this is also a sign of low self-esteem. And that leads me to the next question: how can people look out for signs? Like, what are the signs that people can just look out for in themselves? Because some people now are living low self-esteem and they don't even know. Like, I personally have been there. What is low self-esteem? It's about doubting who you are, doubting yourself, like not having confidence in yourself. I remember there was a time at work that there was supposed to be an event outside of Jos. I think it was in Abuja. And then one of our head of department was asked, can you suggest a presenter that can go and host a meeting between DCC secretaries and chairmen, coordinate the meeting, like at any point that we're going to be. And then this person just said, one of the head of the department now said, I think Joyce can do it. And I was told that, like a day to the journey, a day to the meeting. That Joyce, you're going to be traveling and you'll be addressing this team of seven DCCs, chairman and secretary. I say, how will I do it? Only me, I was confused that day. So the information was just passed, and it's not like we're seeking for your opinion. Can you do it or not? I went home confused. Like, how can I? So I started imagining DCC chairman and secretary sitting down, and then small me. How can I talk? What would I say? So I was just struggling. I couldn't sleep throughout the night. It's not like I even have an outline of, okay, this is what it's going to be. And the next morning, you see me sitting in front of car like less privileged. What was disturbing me is how I will, let me not go and feel this person. How can you have this kind of confidence in me? So that's low self-esteem. Even though others are saying that you can do it, but you are telling yourself that I'm not sure. And then the fear of failure, when you constantly have fear of failure, or at any point you have that fear of failure, it is also a sign of low self-esteem. Because I remember also addressing I had to address it, and I'm wondering, can I do this? So self-doubt is also a sign of low self-esteem.
It's like a long run. I don't know how to explain it. For everybody, it comes in different ways, right? There are times where you cannot even be confident to stand in front of people. That in itself is low self-esteem. There are times that you're not confident in what you are even doing, but you just do it because people are telling you to do it. And that in itself is low self-esteem because you are not putting your best performance, right? And then there are also times when so this is where I'm going to... I'm not so sure that everybody is familiar with these facts that it is low self-esteem. That you think that you cannot get to the top except you bring somebody down. That in itself is low self-esteem.
That one is not witchcraft.
It is. But it is, as much as it is a bad
low
thing.
Self-esteem
It is low self-esteem. It's that you are not even confident in your abilities or your capabilities to make you a better person.
Standing in your ways.
Yes. So you are literally blinded because you're thinking that, oh, this person is the reason why I'm not where I'm supposed to be at. That in itself is low self-esteem. The day someone told me about that, I was like, you mean come again? Because I could not believe it.
And that is common, especially at workplace.
Yes. Exactly.
Especially at workplace. People always think that because this person is at this place, like I can never be there unless this person is actually out of. Yes. But God's ways are not same with ours. And I really wish people come to that realization. While you're just thinking that I can never come to that position of Sambo Solomon. Like I can, as far as Sambo is there, I cannot be there. Like God is looking at Sambo Solomon, you're not supposed to be here. There's a bigger assignment for you. This was just a training ground for you. And while God is working out for Sambo Solomon to go elsewhere, you're not even preparing yourself to that place you want to be. Yes. You're only looking at him as a stumbling block and how you can just take him off that particular place. And then eventually, while you are busy focused on maybe killing the person or being wicked, because there are instances where people kill their colleagues because they want to occupy their seat. People say all manner of things against their colleagues just because they want to be where they are. So instead of you building yourself, you are busy fighting this person or you are busy hating this person, and there are other people behind you, they are busy building themselves. And all of a sudden, God just raised this person to a bigger and better place. And you're like, wow. See, a place that you did not even think that this person will go to. You are just seeing it as a permanent seat. But this person, God has lifted him to a bigger place. And then the organization is saying you are not even fit to occupy. And somebody that is below you, that has prepared himself or herself. I always, like we discussed, these things are responsibility. But people see power or people see leadership as a privilege, as an opportunity to harness. And that is why they want to kill. They want to molest. They want to do all manner of things just to take people out.
But I also perceive that in itself is low self-esteem. Because we're like, you're looking at power being your validation.
Yes.
Honestly.
That validation. That validation.
So validation. It's still low self-esteem in itself. I think that any form of way that you're looking at you cannot even see the good thing that you're doing because you're looking at people for validation. That in itself is low self-esteem. So we need to understand low self-esteem in that angle. It's not just because someone is timid that the person is low self-esteem. Somebody can be can be an extrovert but also have terrible low self-esteem.
Let me give you an
using
example.
the talk
to cover up
cover
that
up.
he's
Let me just give you this
self-esteem.
example. There's this misconception of being smart. You see, a man that, for example, is married and is flirting not just with one girl or two side chicks or 3 or 4, but he feels that anywhere he goes to or at any point he can get anybody that he wants. And for him, it might look like smartness, but I tell you, it's an example of low self-esteem. That's a sign of low self-esteem.
You don't value
and
yourself.
You see, this you don't have any value for yourself, because if you do, then you know that one is enough for me. You will not want to be like everywhere. The fact that you don't even have respect for yourself, it is a characteristics of low self-esteem.
Exactly.
You're saying that I'm not good enough. My validation is when by the time I show my friends that I can get any girl, and by getting girls, sleeping around with girls, like that's when I show that I am powerful. Do you understand? For some, we're talking about power. For some, that's where the validation comes from. That my friends cannot respect me until they see me come with this girl today. Tomorrow I come with another girl. Like that is the way the validation. But that is a big sign, and that's why I say it's a misconception.
Yes.
You'll be thinking you're smart, but in the true sense, it's just low self-esteem. For somebody, they will tell you that this kind of men, they are very emotional men. Like they are not strong. Like because so they look for, that's a cover for them, so that I will not be trapped, so that I will not, because you don't even appreciate who you are. You don't appreciate your capability. Like you said, for some people it's the talk to cover up.
Yes. True. That's
Before
why
you
in the
know,
talking, they-
like the talk already have,
Yes.
you know.
That's why in the talking they are lying, they are adding
Yes, now,
what's
yes,
not
yeah,
supposed to be
yeah.
there and all of that. And I also see the fault of parents in that you have 2 children, even twins, identical twins cannot be alike in every way. But you have 2 children and you're constantly comparing. I know of a woman that have 2 boys. They're not big, really little, and she's always comparing the little one to the older one. The older one is slow, and he's slow in everything.
Why are older ones always slow? Because that was my experience with my
No, I'm
elder.
not slow.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Oh no, you are really fast.
You can see
Even from the works.
She is not slow.
Myself and my elder sister. My elder sister suffered that as well,
1
because
out of 10.
she's quiet. Honestly, firstborn and secondborn.
0.01.
There's always that comparison, and that's why I say why are firstborn always like slow? My elder sister, for example,
It's because the
growing
load
up.
is much on
Oh
them.
really? So as early as
Yeah,
6,
yeah.
you already have
Reverse
low.
is the
No,
case.
you know-
I'm the slow one.
you
and
know
the
the
older one is
idea.
faster.
Firstborn, always, if you check it very well, they give them a lot of attention. Like virtually they do everything for them. Like
First child.
because it's first child. I'm just saying. You understand? But you see, sometimes it's not like you talk about the parent, right? Sometimes it's just that we don't pay attention to critical things. We take certain things for granted.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, okay, if that child, you see the reason why I talked about grooming earlier. So in what way will you blame that child for acting that way? Do you understand? It's just for you to tell him, okay, now this is who you are. But there is this strength in you, this aspect and this aspect, this aspect. And if you are slow, when it comes to this, it will affect you. So I feel you should step up. But for this, you are good. For this, you are good. So you create a balance. Like earlier, you said, when parents say, remember where you're coming from. You can't just tell me, remember where you're coming from without details. For me, there's no information there. So the child can behave the way he wants. If he's in the midst of people that are outspoken and he's always remembering, okay, remember where you're coming from. Where you're coming from, on what context?
coming from home.
It's always that they are
Do you understand? So
struggling.
what I'm saying, no, there should be a proper explanation. Like me, I tell
Probably there
them.
might have been, but
It's
You
just the
understand?
it's just the way our mothers would say, don't
Yeah.
allow a man see your pants. They
Yeah.
will not
Or don't-
explain anything.
Don't allow a
Those-
man touch
not
you.
like what happens if he sees it.
If you, it's just like the lady, the story that was told of a lady that climbed a tree, and then there was a boy down, and then while she was trying to, it's like she noticed he was looking, and so he has seen the pants, so she removed the pants.
Okay.
Or the one that the guy is asking to sleep with her, and she remembered that her mom said, don't allow a man see your pants, and she removed the pants, and the guy had sex with her, and she got pregnant, and the mother, I told you not to allow anybody touch your pants. She, I removed the pants, mommy.
So you see what we are saying. So parents have to just explain, create that balance. Talk with your children. Be friends. Be friends so that they will explain. You see, if you tell them that, you see, this is the background which you're coming from. If you do this, if you do this, if you do that, this is the repercussion. But still with this, there's this greatness in you. Remember, there are so person that came from the same background and they have changed the narrative. It's because they pick it as a challenge and this is what they have done. So you see, you have created a balance. So when he's thinking of this, he's thinking of, and he's creating a balance, he's moving.
Parents don't think about the peculiarity of children.
Yeah.
Most cases,
And I
except
think
now.
that's the point she's
Except
trying
now
to
that
make.
they are
Yes,
becoming
yes.
more aware. Because, for example, growing up with my elder sister, and then my mom was very active in the church and all of that. My elder sister is this slow learner, but once she peaked, like you can't take that away from her. But I can be very fast in thinking. Imagine taking a child for a lesson and the teacher is saying, today I'm going to be teaching you about color combination, a big color mixture, and say we're going to be doing green, mixture of blue and then yellow, so that we'll find out before the end of the lesson what is going to give us. Do you know, immediately I turned my book, because the book was yellow and green, this government exercise book, and it was yellow, and she said today's lesson is going to be color combination, and the color combination is going to be blue and yellow. So before the end of the class, we'll do the mixture and find out what color it will give us. I looked at my exercise book, there was yellow on it, and my Bible was blue. I just turned and I shaded the blue on the yellow, and I say it's green. So she didn't know whether to be excited. She didn't know whether to be excited or to flog me, because she had not even bring out the powder, and how I shaded it and I showed everybody there. I said it's so. There are some children that can, do you understand? There are some children that can be that fast. But some you have to bring the powder. You have to show that it is blue. You have to, and then once they pick it, they pick it. So I remember growing up how that aunties, relations will always say, this one is good. This one, in fact, at some point, because of how excited I am, because of all the uploads, auntie, good afternoon, good morning, I say, this one used to greet, but this one. So my sister, it made her reserve. It made her not even want to come out when people are around, because of course, people are always appreciating this person, and more like, okay, that's where the background is playing. At some point, my mom said, okay, we let this Christmas carol, we are going to sing. Like you understand, myself, we are going to sing song, presentation, special number. You know how everybody can be excited about Christmas carol and all. We practice and everything. But of course, my sister is already used to that how they will always say your younger sister is better than you. And so it affected her. We went to sing. Immediately we went out, people were clapping, and my mom said, okay, this is how it's going to be. I will raise the song, and okay, you will introduce us. I will raise the song, and immediately as the introduction is going, my sister started crying.
On stage?
She started crying on stage, and that's how somebody came and picked her down. And me, I'm forming the. We can go ahead without her and all of that. So that this thing has a way of affecting, and parents need to be deliberate.
Honestly,
Comparison. Every child has his uniqueness. I didn't even tell you the end of the story. This person that they are always telling, oh, you are slow, oh, you are this, everybody in the family appreciating, oh, Joyce is better, Joyce is, and all. My sister wrote after her secondary school. She was the prefect. She served as a prefect. And then when she even finished secondary school, me, I never saw anything prefect. When? Okay.
They didn't see you.
I didn't tell the disappointment I said when I went to SS1. And then there's this. I went to I had double promotions like twice. Primary school once, secondary school once, like that. And then at some point, my sister finished us after her SS2. She wrote WAEC. One sitting she cleared. I cannot even tell you the number of times the centers that I've been to. Like I cannot even say it. But you see, there's uniqueness. One time she wrote after her secondary, she wrote WAEC once, got admission immediately.
Straight.
No, you want to know the number of years I stayed at home before going to school. So there is uniqueness. And like I always emphasize, there's greatness in everybody. There's this young girl now that is trending, Kawa. She has a page, Kawa Megoshi. Very small girl. Look at where she's coming from, but look at the level of confidence that she has. Look at the confidence. So it's just left for us, parents, identify it. This comparison of you are better than this. We
must kill it.
You understand? That is impact on their confidence. That even if a child can do something, he will not do it because he's always reminded of you are not good enough. Imagine a father telling his daughter you're a prostitute. Imagine a father telling his son you amount to nothing. Or hopeless child.
Honestly.
Do you understand those kind of words?
I think when I said that
she didn't land with her point. Let her
land.
drop.
Do you want to land slowly or completely?
Yeah, so I was talking about this woman that have two boys, and she's always comparing them. Now, actually, the smaller one is very smart, and everything she says about him is true. She's not missing words. But the point is, can parents just calm down? I don't think God will create somebody totally empty.
True.
I don't think God will create somebody and say you are a dummy, just go and live your life and die. There is something, but it is not everybody's peculiarities that shines out, just like you talked about your sister's own. In as much as his younger brother is smarter and he does everything they said, but this bigger one has something to offer that this smaller one cannot offer. So if parents can really calm down and drop this comparison, whether you're comparing with siblings or you're comparing with other children from other homes, if we can just calm down, every child has a different thing to offer. Probably this bigger one, what he has to offer is not even in the educational sector. Probably is outside, his skills is like he still has speech disabilities. Before he will tell you one word, it takes time. As he's trying to take time, the smaller one will come and tell you what he's trying to say, and it's just like that. But then this bigger one has something to offer, and if this one grows up, they are still small, so he doesn't even know what is happening. But imagine they all grow up and he realizes that this is what is happening. Probably the case of Esau and Jacob will come up again.
Yes.
Probably the case of Cain and Abel will come up again because they have come to a realization that, because he is good, they like him, they don't like me. Probably he might even feel he's an adopted child because of the way they compare. So if parents can really be intentional parenting brings about fruits that will last.
All right. So what I was going to say is that peculiarities of children and of people, it's not just something that only parents should be careful and should watch.
They are the primary.
They are the primary.
I
know, and I'm not disputing that fact. I'm just saying that we also, as people, as citizens, as community members, we should also be open to noticing that
one of the key players are teachers.
Yes, key players are teachers. I remember one time that I hated math class. It's not anything. I loved math as a subject, but I hated math class. So let me explain. You have an hour, 2 hours max for maths class, and
maths was always
I am slow, and I just want to do everything at my own pace. But I passed my maths.
Always say, "Do you understand?"
Yes.
If they say, "Go and do it on the board."
I loved math as a subject, but because everything is fast paced, they're telling you need to finish this in like 20 minutes and all that. I want to take my time, and sometimes I get distracted while I'm doing the maths, but I will still come back. I'm distracted right now, but I will come back later. So that for me is like, just allow me to do it at my own pace. And that's why when I wrote WAEC, one sitting I passed. Because nobody was on my neck. I was doing it at my own pace.
I don't want to give my story.
But
it is well.
But here's the thing, right? I had this teacher who would come to the class and say, okay, so we have finished solving this. How many people understand? Kevin, do you understand? Esther, do you understand? Okay, fine. Ask them if you don't understand. Let's move to the next
yes,
one.
yes.
And so for me, it became a very irritating class. I could literally just shut down and just lock everything out. There's no need to pay attention anymore. Since at the end of the day, he's going to tell me to go and meet my mates to learn all over. So as a teacher too, it is very important that you look at the peculiarities of your students. Not all of them are at the same pace, and not all of them would understand at the same pace. And so same thing when you're dealing with people in an environment, in a church environment, in a work environment, there are different people with different peculiarities, and you have to also understand. For some people, the whole issue of low self-esteem does not even come when they are younger. It's when they have reached a certain level, in a certain place in their life, and then suddenly at their workplace, everybody is belittling them because they are not outspoken, or they're not out there, they're not showing what they can do out there, because they've not seen that person that would draw them out of the stack of needles, right? So it is very important that when you're handling people, when you're walking around people, be observant. If not, at the end of the day, you might just be the aid for their low self-esteem. And I know we did not mention this, but a lot of times certain people, their low self-esteem comes from bullying. Because I've been bullied, that means I am nothing. Because I got to a position that someone thought, let me trample on this person, that's the only way I can go forward. Maybe it's better I just go back into my shell. I remember saying that to someone. I said, what's the big thing? Let me just go back and become the closeted me that I was, since nobody would really appreciate what I'm doing and everybody would just sit down and trample on me. In fact, it's just better that I don't show them anymore. But at that moment, it was just low self-esteem coming to play and showing itself, right? So it is very important that you watch where you're at, who you're at, even your actions, so that you would cut yourself and tell yourself, okay, so at this moment, it is low self-esteem and not humility. I'm going to talk about that quickly. A lot of times we think that because someone tells you, oh, this is beautiful, and you say, I know, I don't believe you, is humility. It is one of the greatest signs of low self-esteem. Like low self-esteem plays a
They are telling you look beautiful. You're saying, stop lying. Walk, which beautiful. Forget it. Your hair is fine. Which fine. This head I just
woke up in the morning and did it.
This your dress is fine. Oh, I'm just managing it. It's not like the style really came out like that.
Exactly. So you cannot even see that this person is genuinely appreciating you or not. So you also need to build confidence in yourself. Tell yourself,
and we still have to look at factors to that again.
Yes.
Because in the world of psychophancy, people just praise you just for what they will get.
Sambo Solomon, if you get to the point of knowing who you are,
I think that
if you get to the point of developing capacity, like you always emphasize, you can tell between black and white.
Sure.
When people are just praise singing, you will know that this is just psychophancy. When people are really appreciating, I'm beautiful, and you tell me you look beautiful, thank you, but stop lying to me. So I'm not beautiful. That's low self-esteem. And then you are a leader and you're doing terribly, and people are saying, sir, you're doing well. When people are hungry, you know that your policies are terrible, and they're telling you, sir, the changes that you have brought, and then you are happy about it.
You have to ask.
Do you understand? Or you are forcing the people to say how good you are. Then something is wrong with you. You see, this esteem thing, we need to be very intentional about.
Very true.
Once you get to the point of identifying who you are, you know your purpose, it becomes easy for you. Building confidence is going to be easy. Sometimes our low self-esteem stems from laziness, especially young ladies or young people. We don't want to do anything with the totality of our life. Like we always feel we cannot do, without our capability, without our abilities, without everything. And that is why in most cases, especially young ladies, we are being objectified. At workplaces, you feel that the only condition to your promotion is when you sleep with your boss. The only condition to maintain your position is when you sleep around in the office. The only condition to get validation that you are a good boss is when you lower your standards. No, when you come to I remember some years ago while I was conversing with some friends, I said, see, if you hear that I did anything, it's because I want to do it. not because I was compelled to do it, or because, okay, some conditions are attached to. No. See, and that's why yesterday I was talking about how that, or the day before yesterday, if you are in a place and you are not appreciated, trust God for open doors or to take you where you ought to be. You don't have to compromise, but trust God as you are standing on the right ground or doing the right thing. Trust God to lead you where you ought to be, or if there's an assignment for you to be there, because there are individuals that are instrument of change even in their organization. Even when the population, everybody is doing the wrong thing, because that one person refused to compromise. Because of that one person, you see a lot of people changing. Even the organization head too as well changing. So if God wants to use you to bring about change in that organization, let it be. But if the frustration is too much and you think you cannot bear it, then trust God to take you where you will be appreciated. But of course, we should know that the Bible also told us that there's going to be trials, there's going to be tribulation. So let's prepare our mind. Once you come to realization of who you are, and most times we need to develop skills. Develop skills, like keep yourself busy. These things have a way of giving you confidence. Imagine you are a fashion designer and you are known for this skill. You are known for what you give out. I mean, the level of confidence you will give out. Lack of this confidence comes from lack of preparedness. You know you have something to do and you don't prepare. Of course, you have doubt in yourself. There will be no confidence. But you know you're coming for today's life. You know you're discussing this topic and you've made your research. You've done all you need to do. Like, I mean, you will walk in smiling because you know you are prepared. So like you all rightly mentioned, parents have a role to play. Everybody in the society have a role to play. Like sometimes we even forget that we as persons, we struggled with some of these things. But once we are placed as in the position of being teachers to other people, we fight them. We call them names. Imagine being a class as a teacher and you have children you preferred to other children. And then you treat them too like that. You treat the rich people's children differently, and those that you have defined as poor and nothing, like you treat them differently. And God's way is not like man. Those children that you look down on and you don't treat them well because their parents don't used to give you anything as bribe, tomorrow they become people that will be of help to you and even your children. So we should give people that space, that privilege to explore and become better. Like I always say, there's greatness in every child. So that this child is struggling to read, it doesn't mean that he will never learn how to read. How would you feel that? Would you not be happy that this child tomorrow will say, if not for this, my teacher? I know there are teachers today that when I think of them, like I'm so grateful that our path crossed. And there are some that they give up on you since. So if not for those ones that kept telling you, you can do this, you are very good with this, like you wouldn't have attained that height that you have. So it's also needful that even as adults, there are adults that have low self-esteem. So replace that negative perception of yourself with positive. I am good. I am beautiful. I can do it. Sometimes I used to tell myself, yes, is it not to make mistake? If I make mistake, will I not correct myself? Like, so you have to replace it. Like, that's the worst that can happen. I tell myself, what's the worst that can happen when I try this? So why not try? The people that do it, wait, is it two head that they have? So sometimes we look at some things like it's impossible to do. It's just because we've not given it a trial. So sometimes develop that confidence. You can do it. Like the Bible says, you cannot do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So why not explore? Why not live in that declaration over your life? I think it's very needful. Our time is fast spent, but in 1 minute, please, before we wrap up.
Just try and surround yourself with positive
very
people.
Important.
It is very key, because if not, you always say this, and I see a lot of sense in it. People try to form association based on their weakness. So try and dodge that. Yes, if you know it's a weakness, look for people that have strength in that, so that to help you. And in choosing them, choose people that will not look down on you again because they are better than you. Look at people that really mean well. Even if it's one person that believes in you, I think is enough.
And then work on yourself. If you are able to work on yourself, any other external factor will not affect you. Whatever form of criticism that will come to you will not even get to you, because you have built yourself and you are in no position for anybody to look down on you.
Alright, so in a case where you're second guessing your worth and your value, sometimes the hardest decisions are the decisions you should take. So what I mean is that when you find yourself in a position where you're second guessing yourself, like I did, sometimes going out of your comfort zone is your best shot. Because if you stay in your comfort zone, you become cooped up in it, and at the end of the day, you just become, your self-esteem will just go down instead of elevating itself.
Very powerful. Thank you. Very good discussion. Thank you for doing this with me, and to our viewers out there. I'm sure you have something to take home and to live with, something that will influence you and add up to your self-esteem. Like, replace low self-esteem with high self-esteem. We're not unaware that low self-esteem stem from negative self-talk, like negative influences, criticism, and fear of failure. But if you are able to replace this with positive self-talk, like enhancing your skills, ensuring you surround yourself with the right circle, and you will definitely overcome low self-esteem and build confidence. You can do it. The Bible says in Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I'll leave you with this. We'll come your way tomorrow, same time. You have a great day. Bye-bye.